Hello artists! Today you are going to be creating a modern landscape using warm and cool colors with chalk pastel. You're going to be inspired by this piece of art that was created by Georgia O'Keeffe in 1916. She created this using paint, and you can see the contrast in colors between your warm colors and blue colors. Notice how the yellows and oranges and reds in the background stand out against those cool trees. So let's take a look at some of our warm and cool colors. How can you remember them? What are some cool colors, and what are some ideas that can help you remember them? Like, what color do your lips turn when you get out of a cool pool? Think about walking through a cool forest or water. We're going to begin today by creating a chalk pastel landscape. Notice how the paper is divided into a few sections so that you have the space in the front or your foreground. You have some things that are in the middle or your middle ground, and then you have things in the background. So to begin, you're going to be using simple lines and simple shapes to create an outline using a crayon. Start with a piece of paper and your crayon, and you're going to be starting your drawing in the foreground at the bottom. Notice how I'm drawing some small angled lines that go from the edge of the paper towards the middle, and I'm having them slant down and touch each other and go back into the distance. The ones that are furthest away from you are going to be the ones that are far in the distance. Now you're going to be thinking about drawing some simple trees with tall, stretched out, upside down U lines. They can overlap each other, they can be different heights and different thicknesses. Now think about, where would you like either your sun or your moon to be? Do you want yours on the left side? Maybe the right side? I'm going to create mine by drawing a series of circles called concentric circles. I'm keeping some room in between each of my circles as I don't want those lines too close together, as when I add color, it's going to become difficult. Let's take a look at some colors I've used here. You're going to see some warm colors and cool colors. You're going to need to get a tissue and one tray of chalk pastels for your table. Notice how the chalk pastels are broken up by colors. Once you're ready, you're going to decide, do you want your foreground or the land to be warm colors or cool colors? In mine, my background is warm colors and my foreground is cool colors. My sky, I am going to use warm colors, so reds and oranges and yellows. I'm going to set those on my paper to help me remember which colors those are and help me narrow down my choices as I'm working. Once I've set my colors, I'm going to begin in the smallest area, and I'm actually using the lightest color here. I'm using the chalk pastel and one clean finger to go in and smudge that chalk down into the paper. I'm then going to clean my finger off with the tissue and choose my next color. I want to really take my finger and blend that color into the paper in little small strokes. You might find that you get some chalk dust on your paper, which is totally normal when you're working with these pastels. Keep going, blending one color at a time using one clean finger, and smudge that color in so that it covers the paper. If you start getting a buildup of dust, you want to make sure that you tilt your paper up and tap it on your work surface so that the dust falls on the table. You don't want to blow this dust across the table, as nobody would like to breathe that in. It's not very good. So make sure you're tapping your paper and you're getting that dust off. Continue adding your chalk pastels into the background, including the sky, and make sure you go behind the trees down to the horizon line, or where the sky and the land touch. Make sure you're using your finger to blend that in and tap any extra chalk off onto your table. Next, you're going to notice that I am going to use the opposite colors now, or my cool colors, for the foreground. I already used my warm colors, so now I'm going to be using my cool colors in the same way. I'm going to add the chalk pastel into each shape, thinking about where I place my colors, and then I'm going to be blending in each of those with a nice clean finger. Notice here how I'm going and putting all of my chalk pastel color down first before I do any blending. Once I've done that, I'm going to tap off my extra chalk, and then I'm going to begin blending in that chalk so that it gets pushed down into the paper and creates a nice smooth surface that's well blended. Notice here how I'm changing which finger I use so I don't get all of my colors dirty by blending them together. Your last step is to go back and take your black crayon and re-outline your lines after the chalk has gone over them to make them really stand out. Write your name on the back of it, and now you're done. Great job!